So, you want to be consistent? Well, you've come to the right place. You might be asking yourself, what does Mr. Clean with a nice tan know about consistency?
Don't mind me, I'm just cleaning.
Well, I've been a coach for nearly a decade. You don't really care, but here's something that might get your attention. Over the years, I've been able to rub a few brain cells together and notice some things. And so I've observed in my most consistent clients these 4 things that I'm going to be sharing with you today. So my hope is that by diving in with these 4 things, you'll be able to put them into play in your own life and get great results. All right, so let's dive in. Point number 1, planning and prioritization. One of the biggest mistakes I see folks make is that they don't actually take time to figure out how their exercise routine is going to fit into their schedule. They say they want to start working out, and so they have their to-do list for the day, say, hey, I have all these things to do. Once I finish all these things, then I'm going to work out. You're going to fail. So here's what you're going to do instead. On Sunday, you're going to take 5 minutes and do a brief scan of your week. What meetings do you have? What errands do you have to run, etc. And then you're going to plot the points on the week of when you're going to exercise. What days and times make sense? Important thing to remember, think long-term sustainability. Don't confuse yourself for being serious by saying, well, golly gee, I know I typically wake up at 10 a.m., but now all of a sudden I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. and work out for 4 hours, twice a day. Relax, right? Remember, consistency over intensity. Point number 2, find out which motivation category you are in. From my experience, people tend to fall into one of 2 categories, one of 2 buckets. The first category is that you're motivated by overcoming challenges. You don't particularly care if you like the exercise or the activity you're doing. You like embracing a challenge and overcoming something that's difficult, getting out on the other side. Now, you might be watching this and saying, I can't stand those people. I like Karens more than I like those people. And that's okay. We're having fun without you. So you might be falling into category number 2, which is fun, right? Just having fun. So the idea is simply that you genuinely enjoy the physical activity that you're doing and you don't even really consider it exercise. Now, before your mind goes to the gutter, allow me to give you some examples. You might be playing co-ed volleyball. You might play ultimate frisbee, right? You might like roller skating. You're slipping and sliding like Trick Daddy. Doesn't really matter. The idea is that simply you find an activity that you like, that you enjoy doing regularly, that gets your body moving, and you stick with that for the long haul. So lean into the category that you find suits you best. Point number 3, now we're talking about mindset. Now, maybe you're like Dory from Finding Nemo, and after you finish this video, you're going to forget everything that I've said. But if there's anything to remember, it is this. Let this be your P. Sherman 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. Tell yourself the truth. We talk often about being a man of your word, or your word is your bond when we're talking about keeping our word to others. And don't get me wrong, that is important. But do you keep your word to yourself? Right? Every time you say you're going to do something, you don't do it, it eats away at your confidence, eats away at your self-esteem. So you set a plan, stick to it. Now, with that in mind, let's move on to the final point, point number 4, bounce back quickly. Now, to say that from this day forward, forever and always, you're never going to miss another workout is nice, and it is possible. But the likelihood that life is going to happen and throw you for a loop is very likely. So you might get sick, you might have some family troubles going on, work gets busy, whatever. The key thing to remember is this. When momentum is interrupted, how quickly then can you reestablish momentum? So even if it's at a lower intensity than what you're used to, jump back in with the routine. Get back on the good foot quickly, all right? And once you get back into a rhythm, honestly, trust and believe, it's not going to take very long until you get back to full strength. All right, so that covers the 4 tips. I hope you enjoyed this video, got a lot of value from it. I will see you next week in the next video. But until then, take care, stay blessed by the best. Peace.